Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Build Your Brand, Dominate Your Competition, and Make Millions with none other than Tracy Myers. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by Dealeron. And for anyone who isn't familiar with Dealeron, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, and we're best known for our search engine optimization, best-in-class customer service, and our award-winning websites. Dealeron was named the top-rated website provider by Driving Sales in 2012 and 2013, and Dealeron customers were winners of the Spring and Fall 2012 Digital Dealer Website Excellence Awards, including the highly coveted overall winner. Recently at NADA, Dealeron also received the Best in Show Award for website design from Dealer Marketing Magazine. Dealeron is so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that we're the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So, does your website company guarantee you leads? Well, then maybe you should check us out at Dealeron.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We are very pleased to have Tracy Myers as our presenter today. Tracy Myers is an award-winning small business marketing and branding solutions specialist, dealership owner, best-selling author, speaker, business coach, and entrepreneur. Tracy is recognized as one of the top thought leaders in the auto biz and has authored or co-authored 7 best-selling books, including the breakthrough #1 hit, You Are the Brand Stupid. His award-winning dealership, Frank Myers Automax, was recently recognized as one of the top 3 dealerships to work for in the country by the Dealer Business Journal, and one of the top 15 independent automotive retailers in the U.S. by Auto Dealer Monthly magazine. Tracy has been featured by Forbes, USA Today, Success Magazine, the Biography Channel, and the History Channel. He's been a guest business correspondent for Fox, NBC, ABC, and CBS. His inspirational stories and strategies for success have given him the opportunity to share the stage with the likes of Jack Canfield, Zig Ziglar, James Malinchak, Brian Tracy, Bob Berg, Tom Hopkins, and Neil Strauss, just to name a few. As the founder of his own coaching and consulting program, Tracy teaches ambitious automotive professionals how to obtain an unfair advantage over their competition. And he can be reached at tracymyers.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, hey, use that question feature. It's located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we're going to answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of the webinar recording is also going to be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. I also want to let you know that Dealeron is going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas, baby. It's going to be at the Mirage, October 15, 16, and 17, and we're going to be at booth 809. So if you're going to be there, I'd love to see you. For more information, go check out digitaldealerconference.com. And guess what? Our good friend Tracy Myers has brought so many giveaways for you today. It's going to make your head spin. First, everyone attending today's live webinar is going to be getting a free DVD of the Bio Channel's Emmy-nominated documentary about Tracy Myers' dealership and family, Carmen. That's a $20 value. Plus, you're going to be getting a digital copy of Tracy's #1 best-selling and Golden Quill award-winning book, You Are the Brand Stupid. You're also going to get, oh yeah, there's more, an ebook, special report from Brian Tracy. You want more free time, more money, and more enjoyment in life? Well, you can have it using legendary author and best-selling author Brian Tracy's proven formula. You'll also get, oh yeah, there's more, exclusive access to a video recording of a presentation by Nick Nansen and Lindsay Dix talking about the 15 things that your website must have to make money in the world of social media. Oh, and that's not all. You're also receiving a hardcover edition of Invasion of the Profit Snatchers by Travis Miller and Jimmy V. That's a $24 value. Now, to win all that stuff, you need to go to just go to tracymyersrecommends.com, tracymyersrecommends.com, and fill in your shipping info to get your free copy. So you don't want to wait on this. The offer is going to expire soon after this live broadcast. That's tracymyersrecommends.com. Also, a handful of you will be winning a hardcover edition of Tracy Myers' book, Unfair Advantage. But you have to be on the live. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey, so fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get started. Let's learn how to build your brand, dominate your competition, and make millions with none other than Tracy Myers. Tracy, how are you today?
I am fantastic. That is a lot. You need a break?
I know. That is so much. I'm sweating over here. I can't wait for all this stuff. So we have a lot of stuff to give away and a lot of different ways to do it. We're going to get into that a little bit later, right, Tracy?
That's right.
That's right. We're going to get into that a little later. We have a lot of stuff to go over. So how to build your brand, dominate your competition, and make millions? That is a lofty goal, my friend, for this 1-hour webinar. What are we starting with?
Well, first of all, we're going to learn how to scratch the surface to reveal some of the behind-the-scenes branding magic that my family and I have used to create an automotive empire over the years. We're going to have a question and answer session, obviously, and I've already got tons of questions through email. I told them to come to the webinar and we'd address those questions while they were here. And stick around to the end of the webinar, and I'm going to show you how to create, get this, $1 million customer experience in your dealership for less than $1,000.
Wow. Is that possible? I can't wait to hear that. All right. Where are we going from here?
All right, well, you know, I travel the country working with dealers about marketing, branding, sales processes, but today we're going to focus primarily on branding, and of course we'll bring some marketing into that as well. The number one thing I hear as I travel the country working with dealers is, Tracy, we're not you and we can't do what you do. Well, my answer is always the same. You're absolutely right. You're not me. You can't do what I do, and you shouldn't try, because you need to be you, or at least an extension of yourself. And I'll give you a great example. Most people that know me personally, they know that I'm not the guy that runs around wearing a hat all day. However, that is an extension of my personality, an alter ego, if you will. So I'm very comfortable in those shoes. So you've got to be yourself, or at least an extension of somebody that's inside of you, or it's not going to come across as real. And it's very important when you're branding. And so as I asked folks to submit questions, actually throughout the years, I took some of the top questions, and we're going to share those today. Question number one, and I always get this question, is why should I brand myself? That comes from Eric C. And the real debate about branding is there a return on my investment with branding? And that's, as a business owner of multiple businesses, not only a dealership, I really think that's important to ask with anything. But here's what we've got to look at. If all things were created equal, Eric, we all have the same cars. We all pay the same thing for those cars within a few $100. We all have the same traffic at the lot. Then why should your customers choose you instead of your competition and your competitors? And the answer is they may or they may not. However, if you brand yourself properly, it gives your customers a reason to do business with you instead of your competition. So let me go back. If we've all got the same cars, we all pay the same thing for them, we all have the same opportunity to sell those cars, reconditioning is exactly the same within a few $100, then why should a customer choose us instead of the competition? And that's where branding really comes into play. If we brand ourselves properly, it differentiates us from the competition and gives customers a reason to do business with us. So question number two comes from Marty M. Marty asked, you make personal branding sound easy, but I've tried and it seems difficult to me. How do I start? Oh my gosh, well, you know, that's a rabbit hole that we could jump in and spend days, which we don't have. So I'm going to give you the short version. Just a few questions that you need to ask yourself, and I encourage you to do this and really give this some thought, because it's not that simple for everybody. You need to ask, who are you? What do you do? How do you do it? Why should your customers buy from you? When should they buy from you? And where can they find you? So once again, those questions: who, what, how, why, when, and where. When you answer those questions, That's really where you start the foundation of branding and how to brand yourself and or your dealership, because both need to be branded, but branded differently. So once you've answered those questions, who, what, how, why, when, and where, I encourage everyone to make a why buy from you video. The power of video is so important in today's marketplace, especially with SEO, which we're not even going to touch the SEO aspect right now of it, but make that who, what, how, why, when, and where video. I've got one for the dealership, which is right here. A screenshot is right here anyway, and I've also got one for myself. This is another screenshot. So if you'll email me, once again, that email is tracy@tracymyers.com. You want to see those videos, you don't have to search through the thousands I've got on YouTube and on our website. I'll send you a link to those videos, no problem, and you can see examples of some proven why buy from me videos, both for coaching, consulting, or an individual basis, which is important, and one for the dealership, which leads me into another conversation which is directly related, and that is branding the dealership and branding the people in the dealership separately. You know, I tell my team members all the time, you know, I don't care who the customers buy from as long as they buy. I'm going to drive traffic in here. Your concern needs to be, are they going to ask for you when they walk in the door? And that's why it's so important for your sales team to brand themselves in addition to dealer principals out there or dealerships or dealer groups branding the store. When you combine those things together, you've got an entire social and branding community that can work together, and it's really a beautiful thing that will take your dealership and take you and your sales team leaps and bounds above the competition. So let's get into some top branding strategies that I have. This is branding strategy number 1, and that's create a website that is an extension of your personality and features you. And I've got some examples I'd like to show you, and my first example is actually outside of the automotive industry, which is something I encourage everyone to look at when you're looking at branding or marketing. Stop looking just within the automotive industry. And the reason why is we tend to, and all industries tend to be, put themselves in a box where all the marketing looks the same, the print looks the same, the banner ads look the same, the radio and TV ads look the same, and the websites look the same if you're not very careful. So this is a website for an attorney in Florida, and you can see how well he's branded himself. His name is John Morgan. The name of the business is Morgan & Morgan. So this is real important when you're branding yourself. His picture is front and center. He's already tied it into the name of the business because that is his name. And if you look in the top right-hand corner, he's even got his phone number, which is a vanity number. I'm not always a huge fan of vanity numbers because they can be confusing. In this case, it makes perfect sense because it's Morgan & Morgan. His name's John Morgan. He's an attorney. His vanity number is 877 Morgan Law. So it makes perfect sense. Example number 2, a good friend of mine, Jamie Pilson, Pilson Auto Center. If you look, there is Jamie on the left side of the screen. He's got his picture on his website. And, of course, this is my dealership website. And we're right there front and center, myself and Uncle Frank. Now, as I work with new car dealers, the question or the concern I always get is, well, the manufacturer won't let us do this. And in a lot of cases, they won't. However, you're not stuck. I'm sure there's a lot of dealers out there that are listening right now that are branding themselves as in the industry, and they have their own websites or their own Facebook page, fan pages, and they can do this just as easily as the dealership can. Or if you're a dealer principal and you're on today's webinar, we have lots of dealer principals right now, and they are actually creating a secondary site on top of the required manufacturer or OEM site, and they are promoting their secondary site, which can look more like this. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. Did you draw
Good.
the little sad face and the smiley face?
Like that, right? Yeah.
Is that actually on the site?
That is on the site, yep.
That's cute.
Got to look at it though. So my second branding strategy is make friends with the media directors in your marketplace, and I think this is where sales professionals and dealer principals are really dropping the ball. And I can sincerely say that in our marketplace, I am the go-to expert when it comes to anything automotive or automotive related. And when I say make friends with the media directors, that's the person that's in charge of the news for the local TV, the local radio, the local newspaper, anyone that creates news in your market. It may seem like they've always got a source, but trust me, they're always looking for localized material. And a lot of times what you have to do, and like in this case, for example, this news story, and this is an NBC affiliate in my marketplace, this news story came when the financial collapse happened at the end of '08, beginning of '09. And that's, granted, that is a national news story, but it has local ramifications as well. So I called the news director and asked them if they wanted to do a story about the local ramifications that that this national story had on the economy as far as automotive dealers are concerned. So they came out. So my question is, how much is a minute-and-a-half news story worth to your dealership, as long as it's positive? How much is that story worth? Well, you can't buy that airtime. I mean, it would literally cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in this case, that was perfect for us. The second time was Cash for Clunkers came in. I was a news correspondent for Fox News. We did a localized story, and we did a national story both. The local story happened first on a local Fox affiliate, and then the national Fox affiliate called and wanted to interview me and be a consultant during the entire Cash for Clunkers program. So I was on the national Fox affiliate for almost 90 days, sometimes up to twice a week. And once again, that would be millions of dollars worth of marketing, and I was branding myself in the dealership as well. And I asked to be on the air. They didn't come to me and ask me. I asked them. I gave them the story. I created that opportunity. This is another story. This is Fox 8. This is a few months ago when the floods came through New Jersey, which is very unfortunate, and we're in North Carolina. We realized that some of those flood cars may be coming into the Carolinas. We weren't sure, but we wanted our customers and other customers to be aware that it's something that may happen. So we once again saw that opportunity and created that opportunity for the dealership. And this was a perfect example of that. And this, once again, this was about 6 months ago. And this was talking about automotive sales picking up. As a matter of fact, I just called a news director this morning on the way in when the new statistics came out that it was the best August since pre-recession numbers for the automotive industry. So now we've got a story opportunity on a national level that I'm helping the local news turn into a local story. Now, you can't call up the news director and say, hey, I got a story for you. I mean, you can, but it's probably not going to work. You need to get to know them. You need to send them, like here, for example, I always recommend sending a, hey, my name's Tracy Myers, Frank Myers Auto. Here's who I am. Here's what I do. And I'd just like to meet you as a local business owner. I'll buy you lunch. It costs you $10, $15 to go out to lunch. If you're eating at a nice place, you get to know them, and then you build that trust like with any relationship, and you can give them the stories that you want to give them. So right now we're on the news, the local news, as a correspondent, as a guest expert, so to speak, probably once every 6 weeks at least. And once again, you can't pay for this type of advertising. This is priceless. And of course, this is where they did the documentary on our dealership. And this is a article I write for 2 local magazines in the area. Beat the Dealer. This one, if you look at the date, goes all the way back to 2000, either 2006 and 2008. I've been writing it for several years. This is so easy to write because it's simple question and answer stuff, and this is very popular. And we actually get a lot of we get a lot of good feedback from this.
That is awesome.
So now it's time for the poll question. Yes?
Poll question.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, right?
No, we don't have a poll question.
We don't? Okay, so we just keep going, right?
Yeah, we just keep going.
All right. So branding strategy number 3. Take professional photos and put your photos everywhere. So I'm going to show you 2 pictures here. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Which one of those was better? And you don't have to really think about it long and hard. The second one's better. Both the same event, both the same people. The second one is a professional photograph. So stop getting your sister, your brother, your uncle, your sales manager to take your picture and put it on your business cards and on your website, unless they're professional, because it usually doesn't look right. The lighting is all wrong. And I'm going to show you some more examples. This is one of my business cards. This is the front of my business card for my consulting and speaking and writing and all that good stuff outside of automotive, so to speak. And it's an odd size card, but I like that because it's different. It stands out. And that's a professional photograph against a white screen, so it can be properly cropped out and things can be put into the background. Also recommend, as a side note, to have a different card for different things that you do. For example, my card for when I was selling full time and on the floor had a different card when I introduced myself to customers, and I had a different card when I actually sold them a car, because your goal's different at that point. So definitely need different cards for that, or I'd recommend that. I think you'll see you'll definitely see wonders when that happens. This is the back of my business card. Look creative, acting goofy, got the signature hat on, and it's got all my social media icons. And by the way, if you don't have me somewhere on social media, you're probably not on social media, because I'm everywhere. Look for me out there and connect if we're not already connected. So following my tradition, I'm going to go outside of automotive. I love this business card. This is captured. I mean, it's, the picture is fantastic for one thing. It really stands out. However, if you look at it, it's just laid out differently. It's got some cool colors in it. He's got bat phone and bat mail. Don't know what that means. Don't care. Just
I love it.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the shadow under his picture. I'm going to assume that picture folds up, and there's some more information, probably a bio, because it looks like he's an actor underneath that. But this is a fantastic business card, and something that we've really fallen back on in automotive, and that's branding ourselves, and that's why we're talking today. Real estate people, real estate folks, people in that industry and professionals have been branding themselves for years, because they're their own agents in most cases. This is a real simple card, nothing fancy, but it's got a nice picture, it's got a good phone number, it's got his personal website address. I wished I'd gone to his website address and looked at it, because there may have been something there that could have been really good or really bad, but his card is great. So you don't have to get ultra creative. You don't have to wear the funny hats. You don't have to have goofy icons or even something very expensive. This is just a full color card, simple message with a great, great picture on it. So my branding strategy number 4. I know Robert's on the line, so he's a big wrestling fan like me. This is the 4 horsemen, so a little shout out to Robert, all right, is third-party video testimonials are powerful. You got to use them if you're not using them. And people say, well, who do we take videos of? And the answer is you take videos of everybody. And we take so many different types of videos at our store. I can send you some links to those, or you can just go to the dealership's YouTube channel. We have a big check giveaway, so when somebody sends a referral, they actually have an opportunity on a scratch board to win up to $750, and when they do win, we give them a big check. We put everybody in hats with a big celebration, and that's huge for us. When anybody buys a car, they have a red carpet celebration ceremony that we record. We don't do as many walk-arounds because we're more experience-driven, more solutions-driven, and less product-driven. That may not be your business model, but one thing is true with all of our dealerships, and that's people buy from people. So when you're looking at faces and video testimonials, even if it's something very simple, it's really powerful, and we need to be using that. And once again, we're not even talking about SEO here, which is necessary, and it's the ramifications for SEO and video are huge if done properly, but I know you've got another webinar sometime on another day about that, so we're not going to get into that. So if you just filmed the video and you had the wrong titles and the wrong headline and the wrong description, the video is better than nothing. And you can share these, and what we do is when we find the customer from my personal profile, and this is where it really gets kind of in deep with social media, and we'll just scratch the surface here from a branding point. So we have the dealership's Facebook page and, of course, everything else, but Facebook is still it's still the big animal in our marketplace and with our store. And most of the stores I go into, a lot of the kids are saying it's not cool anymore, but you know what? Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa are still on there, and they're still very active, and they still spend an obscene amount of time on Facebook. So it's important that you got somebody connecting with customers on there. At my store, my sales team, they are doing it on a limited basis, but I'm trying to connect with all these customers with my personal profile, and then we can actually send them these videos. And guess what happens when they get these videos?
They share them?
They share them with other people, right? They want to see the video, and if it's branded properly, I don't think you could help but see this video. And of course, it's just a screenshot and say, okay, this is either the funniest thing I've ever saw, this is the stupidest thing I ever saw, or I don't care either way. And that's the rule of thirds, and that's really what you deal with in marketing and branding, the rule of thirds. You want a third of people to like it, a third of people to love it, and a third of people don't care either way. If you're not making an impact in some way, shape, or form, whether it's extreme like or extreme dislike, I think the message is getting lost in today's marketplace. But that's marketing, and we're focusing a little bit more on branding here. And I also practice what I preach on the consulting side. These are both consulting people that I consulted with, and they've done testimonial videos as well. But you got to ask for them. You got to have a process in place if you've got more than one team member. And you know what? If you're a sales pro out there and your store doesn't want to put a process in place to get a testimonial from every customer, then unless it's in your company policy not to do it, then you need to do it. It's your obligation, it's your responsibility to make it happen and get testimonials from your customers. FTC's made it a little trickier, and this is just the asterisk, the addendum, the disclaimer. You really need to get your customers to sign off on testimonials, whether your store's doing it or whether you're doing it. And you know, if you need an example of what we use at our store, it's a simple one-paragraph deal, and they sign off on it. It says that they can appear in video and photographs and things like that for the store. If you don't, FTC has already proven that they don't care for that. If the customer comes back down the road and says, I didn't give them permission to do that, it could get a little tricky. So I'll be glad to send you my copy. It's Tracy@tracymyers.com.
Now, by the way, we have a lot of people who are fans of the Four Horsemen, not just Robert.
Hey,
they've been writing in and saying all kinds of stuff about the Four Horsemen.
That's why you love me. It's that unspoken wrestling connection. That's what it is.
Fabulous.
Right. Glad to hear. So we can see. I can get into wrestling, so I've got to change, totally block that from my mind, or we'll have a wrestling webinar for the next half hour.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. That would not work out. You would not be happy with me. So
this will be the funnest webinar I've ever done.
Yeah. So all right. So branding strategy number 5. You need to be where your customers are, and your customers are using social media in some capacity. A lot of dealerships I've gone into, I've spoken with the dealer principal, and here the reason they don't want to jump in to social media is because they're afraid of social media. They're scared of the unknown, and they're afraid if they open that the Pandora's box is what they're referring to it as, that customers will then have the opportunity to blast them on social media. Well, I've got some bad news for you. If they're going to blast you on social media, they're going to blast you whether you're there or not. So it's better to be there and be able to engage with them and overcome those opportunities for improvement than to hide and act like it's not there, because it's there anyway. So I'm going to give you some social media takeaways. Use the rule of thirds, which we just spoke about, and that's once again, and this is with posting. And this is more in the beginning. Once you find your voice and people start to follow you and respond to you, you can vary this a lot more. But in the beginning, use the rule of thirds. That's posts where a third of the people will like you, a third will hate you, and a third don't carry the way. Rule of thirds in social media, when you're posting, that's a third about you and your business. A third would be personal, like me and my kids did X, or me and the wife went here or there. And then the other third would be absolutely not related to really anything whatsoever, like the goofy video you found on YouTube, or the cool chicken wing recipe that you found on the website for Super Bowl weekend. That's the rule of third. And once again, once you find your voice and you discover what your followers are responding to, then you can vary that up totally. Don't use an avatar or a logo. Use your picture if any way possible. Now, know once again, if you're a new car store, that's a little tricky because they tend to want you to use the manufacturer's logo, like Nissan, Ford, Chevy, Jeep, whatever it is. If that's the case, then I highly recommend creating different fan pages or different Facebook pages or different Twitter profiles for your team members. Because when you do that, then you can actually personally engage. It's just really difficult, especially on Facebook, when all you have to use is your fan page, because that personal page has so many more opportunities for engagement than the fan page does, even though you need both. But once again, don't use an avatar or a logo. Use a picture, someone's face. Number 5, social media takeaway is update. No one wants to go to a Facebook page, a Twitter profile, Google Plus, wherever you're at, and you haven't updated in 3 weeks. It's horrible. They know you're not there. They know you don't care. They know it's not important to you, and they're not going to be there either. They're going to check out. Number 4 is be creative and have fun with it. People really like to see behind the scenes of a car dealership. For so long, like a lot of things, it's been so mysterious, and people didn't know what went on behind that proverbial curtain. And we all know that there's nothing top secret that goes on back there really. But the customer thinks that. It's kind of like now the big thing in award shows is to go behind the scenes, behind the curtain, and that engagement, interactions with the viewers has really pushed those award shows to another level, and all new viewership highs. And that's in an age where television is dying. And we can do the same thing in the dealership. Pull back the curtain. Let's offer transparency, or at least the illusion of transparency. And I'm saying that not to be necessarily be secretive to the customer, but I firmly believe there are some things that the customer thinks they want to see, but they really don't want to see. A great example that I use quite often is in a restaurant setting. We may think we want to see in the kitchen of the restaurant, but trust me, I've worked in kitchens in restaurants as a teenager. We do not want to see what's in the kitchen. We want to eat the food and we want to leave. In a dealership, even though it's, hopefully behind the scenes isn't dirty like a kitchen in a restaurant. I mean, some funky stuff goes on back there. But there's some things the customer thinks they want to see, but they don't really want to see what's going on. But we can offer the illusion of transparency, and they really, really like that, and they interact with that. So be creative, have fun. Film birthday celebrations for your team members. That may not seem like a big deal, but you know what? It makes you and your team seem real. Car dealerships and team members in car dealerships have seemed so untouchable and unapproachable and jerks for so long, but the second you start showing birthdays, celebrations, and you start showing clips of your kids and pictures of your kids and talking about your family and relating to the same things they relate to, then that breaks down that wall, that barrier, where they can say, you know what, this is a real person. They're not so bad after all. Social media, it's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. You've got to engage. Make it a point in the beginning, and sometimes it's difficult, especially when you start off. It was for me to engage with at least 3 people a day. My goal in the beginning was 3 people that I knew, 3 people that I didn't know. Whether it's a, hey, that's a cool concert you went to, or that's a good thing you're doing in the community. Just something simple and like it. And they'll reciprocate down the road. Facebook graph search. That's something totally new, and it's been amazing. I think Robert had said that he's using that for some search opportunities. You can use some Twitter search as well, especially in the service department. There's some great service opportunities there. But Facebook graph search is your friend. You've got to learn to use it, or I would highly encourage that you learn to use it the right way. And I share with you how we're doing it. So we use a couple of customer review sites, which most people in the automotive industry are familiar with. We get a customer review card, and when we get that card, there's a place for an email address, amongst other things like their name and phone number. When you put that email address into the graph search, right now we've got about 93% of our customers actually have a profile on Facebook. And we can find them using their email address on graph search. I can go to their page, I can send them a private message. I say something to the effect of, hey, this is Tracy Myers, owner of Frank Myers Automax. You just bought a car from us. I sincerely appreciate it. Here's my direct number if you ever have any concerns. By the way, how's your car doing? Something real simple and to the point like that. I'll also throw in there that I'm going to send you a friend request. And this is always a good place to find me because Facebook's always on my smartphone, which is always on my hip. And I'm seeing tremendous results from that. And it just takes a little time. So if you're selling 5 cars a day, 10 cars a day, 15 cars a day, that's essentially that number of graph searches you're doing using Facebook. And I think you'll be amazed at how many of your customers are actually on Facebook and how you can engage them. So time for another disclaimer here. If you use the graph search and if you friend your customers using your personal profile and you let them know you're there, be prepared for them to never contact you again unless there's a problem. That will become your dealership's customer service hub once your customers know that you're there. But that all goes back to branding. Our customers know that I'm there or a team member is always on social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Google+. And they contact us through social media now, whether they're sending referrals, whether they're asking for a manual for their car, and it seems odd. And in the beginning we were saying things like, look, you need to call the service department, but we realized they reached out to us through social media, so we want to respond back through social media, not make it well, you need to call this or you need to call that. We would handle that through social media, but it takes time, so your customer will know you're there. But once they do, it can be massive for your store, and you'll see massive growth. Now, we're not going to take social media any further unless there are direct questions. However, you can do the same type thing in Twitter with Twitter search in a local area. We use it for service. And we monitor that, whether it's cheap oil change Winston-Salem, which is our marketplace. And we also have searches for our competitors. So if somebody says, hey, XYZ Motor sucks, then we can read, yeah, seriously, or I just went to XYZ oil change Jiffy Quick place and they left my oil cap off and now my car's on the side of the road, and this happened a couple weeks back. We can say, hey, sorry for your problem. We can send a tow truck in, a wrecker in 5 to 7 minutes. We can bring your car back here. We'll give you a complimentary oil change, and we'll clean the oil off your car for you. So the question is, a dealer principal, and for all the automotive folks out there, take your automotive hat off for a minute. And if that were you or your husband or your wife, and that happened to you and your family, and a competitor or someone else approached you, would they have your business like forever? They wouldn't mind, and that's how one of the ways we're growing our business, through social media branding. We're the go-to dealership on social media. They know we're there, and we do it all in-house. We don't outsource any of it. So here's a bonus tip. Most of us hate Google+, and I'm going to assume that because I've met very few people, unless they worked at Google, that like Google+. But it's still owned and operated by the king of search engines. So if you're not on it, if you've been trying not to be there, then get on it now and use it. It's better to be safe than sorry. I don't think it's going anywhere. and I think it's going to eventually dominate because it is Google. Google has failed in the past. We all know that with certain projects. But with this, I think they've got too much invested, and they're tying it into all their other properties as well. If you'll post a YouTube video, for example, then you post it on your Google Plus page, you'll see that video populate in SEO results better, from my experience, if it's on Google Plus than just on YouTube. So for what it's worth, get there and follow the same rules as you've been following with Facebook. So, as I promised, here's $1 million customer experience, and we're not going to measure that $1 million on actual how much it costs or how much it can produce ROI, but the actual experience. It seems like it's $1 million experience. It's something like you see at the movie theater or Disney World that you can bring into your dealership for less than $1,000. And I know everybody's excited about this, and you'll have this done by tomorrow afternoon. All right. So
I'm ready. Show it.
So here's the first thing you need to do. You need to get the largest flat screen TV you can buy. You don't have to get plasma. None of that matters, and you'll see why in just a moment. But the biggest screen for the wall that's got the most space, because it creates the most impact. I'm going to show you here in a minute. That's $500 and up. You got your bracket, $50 and up. You need to buy an Apple TV, which is $99, period. There's no monthly fees. You need to get Flickr Pro, which is $24.95 a year. Now, the reason you get Flickr Pro is because there's a Flickr Pro app. And what happens is you can actually take pictures of your customers as they enter into the showroom, and within seconds it will appear on the TV. It will put it into Flickr, and their pictures will be on the TVs in your showroom. Now this, of course, is a picture of one of our salespeople that we've put into the rotation. We've made cartoons of everybody as part of our branding efforts here at the store. So what happens when mom, dad, 2 kids, 5 and 8, come to the store, into our store, we'll use that as the example, and they put the hat on. We give the kids a hat, we take their picture, and then it appears on the screen. Who has buy-in of the store at that point in time? Well, definitely the kids do, and the parents are going to as well, because the kids do. One thing that you realize when the kids are there, and McDonald's figured this out a long time ago, because I don't know that any adult that eats McDonald's because they like McDonald's food. They eat there because it's convenient and quick, or because their kids are just beating them up to go to McDonald's because they get a free toy in the box, right?
You are so right about that. I cannot stand McDonald's.
There you go.
Find myself there at least once every other week.
Exactly. Well, the dealership's kind of the same way. If you put your picture on the screen, you give them the hat, then they love you forever. It's better than a balloon, which they can get a balloon too, but the hats kill their pictures up on the screen, and it puts it in immediate rotation. Now, you can have, we've got 5 running in the showroom. Our wall space is very limited because we've got such a small space. We hang them from the ceiling like this. Very inexpensive, and we also rotate pictures of the gong ceremony, the red carpet gong ceremony, which this is, and with the customers walking in. So you can imagine if you've got a huge wall space, which I would love to have this massive TV on the wall and be able to rotate these photos out. Our pictures are very small, but they're surrounded by these TVs, so it's constant branding. That's all they've got is branding, and we've also got one in our service department. And it's an electronic menu, which looks like $1 million, and once again, it's nothing. You can get all this set up in each department. In our service department, that's like a $700 setup. Instead of a paper menu or brochures that you got to keep buying over and over again, it's right there on the wall. It's not on the counter. It's not on the little sign in the back with the changeable letters. It looks like 1963. You can change these out. Now, I made this picture. Made it in Keynote because I use a Mac. If you're on a PC, you use PowerPoint. Change it into a JPEG, and you've got these pictures. That's how easy these are. In service, we don't put the pictures of the customers on the electronic menu. We've actually got oil change prices, which is this screen. We've got other services that we offer on another screen, and then we've got a third screen, which is some variable things like times for shuttle drop-offs and things like that. So there's only 3 screens that rotate. You can set up rotation time, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You do all that within Apple TV. It's so easy to set up. All you need to do it. Anybody can really set this up, and your customers are always impressed by this. Trust me. So
you're getting a lot of people who are liking this. They're writing in. Even our friend Robert wrote in, "Brilliant," with lots of exclamation marks. So this is awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. Great idea.
So and I saw this in a movie theater. And if you've been to the new real fancy movie theaters, if you're in a town like that, they built one here, and I walked in, I saw that digital concession menu behind the concession stand. Oh my God, I would love something like that in my service department. I asked for the manager. The manager came out, and I said, here's who I am. I'd like that. Who do I contact? He told me. And here's the ingenuity that I think all people in the automotive industry have. I called them. You had to buy you leased the TV. It was like $99 a month to lease this TV. And then they leased this program out, and they said, we set it all up for you. Tell us what you want on there. We'll change it out. And it was like $2,499 up front, and it was like $999 a month. And I'm like, you've got it. And there was like a 36-month lease on this thing. And then they took it back. You didn't even own it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. There's got to be a better way. And as we all know, when we're entrepreneurs, when we're in business, and when we're trying to create something different and better, it's always about finding a better way. And so this way, everybody can be out literally for less than $1,000. Now you're looking at a smaller TV. Doesn't have to be high def. Doesn't have to be plasma. As long as it's flat screen, put it on the wall, you're good to go. And you can take that all the way down to something small on salespeople's desks, which I actually see a lot of, and that's the frames for the digital photos. You just put the memory card in there, and the pictures rotate out. That's pretty cool on the salesperson's desk for something small and a small impact. It's like the brag books, the new generation brag books, so to speak. But when you've got that big screen in there, and if you've got the 4 walls with a place to put 4 different ones, and they're surrounded sitting in your showroom by those, it has huge effect, and everybody talks about it. So we really like that. And going the direction of the picture is something that I didn't put in here, and I thought of it this morning, but I'm going to share it because I think it's huge, and it goes with what we're talking about as far as branding. Almost everything you do needs to go in the direction of branding because it really stays with the customer, and it sets yourself apart from your competition. And if you don't have something to set yourself apart from the competition, then it all comes down to price. And when it just comes down to price, everybody loses because nobody's making any money. And the customer wants you to take care of them after the sale, but you've not made enough money to take care of them, and then the customer's upset. You're upset because the customer's upset, and plus you didn't make any money. So it's just a downward spiral that it's not good for anybody. So these dealerships that are beating themselves up, and they say, I got this deal away from so-and-so dealer up the street. Well, who cares? You lost $500 just to say you got the badge that said that you got it. It's like anybody can win at the auto auction if they hold their hand up long enough, but nobody's really winning except the guy selling the car. So let's try to get away from that mentality and realize that if we create an experience that the customer will love, that they keep talking about forever, then you can pretty much charge what you want to because within reason, of course, but you can charge so much more than your competition because you're offering so much more. They're selling the car. They're selling that tangible, and that's it, period. Now, there are some customers, and I tend to think it's in that 4 to 6%, and it's all about the tangible. It's all about the best price. They don't care about any of the extras that they get. But I think 85, 90, up to 95% of the customers will pay extra for an experience. And I'm not talking about a good customer service experience per se, even though that's important. Your customers should expect and they deserve good customer service. I'm talking about walking in, seeing massive screens in the showroom with customer pictures on those screens, and we just added a photo booth, which is just killer. It's about 90 days ago. There's a photo booth in the showroom. The kids come in, we give them some tokens, they take their picture, and guess where you can post that picture? Touch of a button, the picture goes to Facebook. Bam. So now the picture goes to Facebook. There's 4 pictures. It's the old strips like at the carnivals and the fairs. The last position has a picture of Uncle Frank holding a camera that says click on it, so it's even branded. So now they get 2 copies. One goes with mom and dad, one goes with the kids, and it can be a bookmark. It goes on the refrigerator, and Frank Myers is always there. But you know, the photo booth is just huge, and they're wildly popular at wedding receptions and things like that. But why not bring it into your dealership? They're fairly cheap, and it's something that everybody keeps talking about.
Hey Tracy, did you move your slide forward? Because okay, now we're on the takeaway slide.
Yep. So, is that good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
great.
So takeaways. Branding doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and that's why most dealerships don't stay with it. They're always talking about that instant ROI. How much am I going to make, and am I going to recoup my money by the end of the month? Unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that, and if you're a sales pro on the call and your dealer principal doesn't believe in branding and they're wanting an overnight return on their investment, go ahead and realize that's not going to happen, and invest in yourself, invest in your career, invest in all the money you're going to be making down the road when you probably move away from that dealership and somewhere where the dealer principal or the management team care about you and your branding efforts, and you're selling 25, 30, 35, 40 cars a month because everybody knows you as the expert in automotive in your marketplace, because the dealer principal is probably not going to. If you're a dealer principal and you're on the call, or a general manager, general sales manager, somebody that controls that budget, realize that people are slicing part of their marketing budget now and putting it towards SEO, because that is marketing, and they're doing it. They're real hesitant to still do it, a lot of, but more doing it now than ever. And you know, branding needs to be in that same category, because you've got to learn how to set yourself apart from your competition. If not, once again, it's all about the tangible. Takeaway number 2: remember that you are the brand. Stupid. It's all about you. The dealership's responsibility is to provide, other than providing a safe and clean work environment, is to provide you traffic, cars, a place to work, and a phone. Period. That's in the story. Everything else, and this is my belief, and it's what I teach dealers and dealership pros across the country, that it's up to you to drive the majority of your traffic. And people have been saying that in automotive for years, and Joe Girard was doing it years ago. He proved how much money he made doing it himself. He spent money, but he invested it in himself, and people knew him as the guy that would do anything to make the deal happen, and that's really what you got to do. Now, depending on the store you're at, you've got to, you'll have to form your brand around the store's culture and the store's brand, so to speak. So if you're in a Mercedes store, you're probably not going to be the guy that runs around wearing the hat, because the two don't go together. Joe Girard would go to baseball games and wear big fur coats and throwing business cards in the air. That was Joe, and Joe was well known for that. I don't even know what Joe sold, but it had to match. It had to match the culture of his store and his brand and his customers, or it would have never worked where he was at. So you're the brand, so take control of it. And the big food for thought takeaway is this. And this is I used to ask myself this every night, and I think we have almost accomplished it here at our dealership. How successful could your dealership be if every team member in every department created and promoted his or her own unique brand using guidelines set up by the dealership? And that's where a lot of dealers get a little uncomfortable, because they're afraid that this is going to go outside of what the guidelines that they're comfortable with. And you know, you got to stay in those guidelines. It's their store. But if everybody did that, and they were active on social media, branded themselves on social media, they all had their own individual website, and it all worked together as one strong community, and they all talk to each other via the web and also in the community. Let's don't just look at internet-based things, and I know that's the way everything is online now. However, depending on the size of your town, there's so many opportunities on a local level where you can brand yourself and brand the store and be visible, to where you could actually pull back some of your online efforts, or at least use them to work together. And I think, you know, in today's marketplace, we're forgetting a lot of that. I'm not necessarily talking about putting the dealership name or even your name on the back of the the Little League baseball shirts. Not saying that's a bad idea, but what if they named the baseball team after your store, and your store's mascot was at every game, was the official mascot of the team? I mean, and then you supplied them a big bus and wrapped the bus with the mascot and the logo. So think big, think Disney World. People pay $100 to $125 a ticket to get into Disney, when realistically they could go to Six Flags for $50. Why do they do that? It's about the experience. It's because of the grandeur. It's because it's so big, and because, you know, it took time to develop. It wasn't an overnight success. And those are things to look at within your store, within your dealership, within your own culture, and you got to dig down inside of you and realize who you are and what your brand is, and make it happen. So we're almost at 1 o'clock, and hopefully we got some great questions. It's open book today. No questions really off limits. So let's see if we can make some of this happen.
We did. We have some awesome questions from the audience. And audience, if you still have a question that you didn't get answered from Tracy just yet, well, now's a great time to send it in. We're going to start with those questions from you, our valued audience, in just a moment. But Tracy, before we do that, let's talk to them a little bit about all the free stuff you got for them.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, not only did I reach in and I called my publisher, I called the folks that made graciously made the documentary on the store, and my family. I called some friends, called in a lot of favors, and we got some really cool stuff here. So we've got You're the Brand Stupid, which was a #1 best-selling book, won a Golden Quill, and all this information is in there. Of course, now it's a little updated, and there's so much more in there we can't really cover. A couple folks tweeted me a couple days ago, said they just reread it to get ready for the webinar, and that's really cool. The sequel comes out soon, so of course that's up to the publisher. We've got Jimmy V and Travis Miller's hardcover book, Invasion of the Profit Snatchers. We've got a great audio from Lindsay Dix and Nick Nanton about using your website in the era of social media. We get Brian Tracy, who is a mentor of mine, best-selling authors. He spoke all over the world. There's a really cool ebook of his in there. Turbo Troy Spring, who's a great friend of mine, he's got a book coming out, and he has graciously given us a preview of his book. It's the entire first chapter that no one had read except him and his publisher and his editor. So I don't even know what else is in there. Oh, and Unfair Advantage as well.
Right, and for a lot of this stuff, we need addresses. We don't have your addresses, audience, so we need you to go to, where is it? TracyMyersRecommends.com. Is that correct, Tracy?
That's correct.
We need you to go to TracyMyersRecommends.com and fill out the form right there so we have your address. Oh, people are writing in. They already did it. Boom. All right.
Hey, there you go.
Well, you got that going.
So when you go to that landing page, that is a landing page that my friends Jimmy V and Travis Miller set up, and they will forward me those addresses, and we thought that would probably be the best way to do it. And some of these things like the ebooks and the audio, there'll be links, and we'll send those out via email.
Yes, and I'm going to put it into the chat feature for everyone. It's TracyMyersRecommends.com. So you want to go there, send to all, and go to that landing page and get us your mailing address so you can get some of this other cool stuff. Okay, we have 5 hardcover editions of your book to give away. Is that correct, Tracy?
That's correct.
All right, so it's that time, audience. You missed it at the beginning of the webinar. I announced that our good friend Tracy Myers, a ton of prizes we just went over, but he's also giving away 5 hardcover editions of his amazing book, You Are the Brand Stupid. So what we have here is 5 simple questions about today's presentation. First one to write in the correct response is going to win one of these books. So get to your keyboards. Get ready, and good luck, everyone. And it's so funny because Robert Wiseman's on here, and he said, that book changed my mindset. And he says he already has it, but he loves to win, so he's going to try and win it. Okay, everyone, you get 5 chances to win one of these books. So good luck, everyone. Here we go. Question number 1. Who should you make friends with? It's a simple question. Who should you make friends with? Okay, we have a winner. We do have a winner. Thank you, everyone. Don't worry, you got 4 more chances to win. Let me scroll up here so we can see who the winner was. And it was really funny, Tracy. A lot of people wrote in everyone.
Which is not a wrong answer. It's just not the answer we're looking for. Right.
Exactly. So it wasn't exactly what we were looking for. But the answer, hold on, let me see if I can get back up here a little bit. The answer we were actually looking for was the local media director. And the first one to write that in was Ian Bowers. Ian Bowers, congratulations. You are a winner of the hardcover book, You Are the Brand, Stupid. Ian Bowers. If you could, Ian, write on in and let me know what dealership you're from so I can give you a proper congratulations, of course. Okay, thank you, everyone, for playing. Don't worry. We're going to get some more questions, more chances to win. Question number 2. This is a hard question, but a very, very short answer. So good luck, everyone. Question number 2 is, how many questions should you ask yourself when trying to figure out how to start the process of branding yourself? And we have a winner. All right, I love it. We have a lot of people who wrote in, and actually not everyone had the correct answer. Tracy Myers, tell everyone what the correct answer was.
The correct answer is what's the question?
How many questions should you ask yourself
5.
when trying to figure out how to start the process of branding yourself?
5 questions.
Even Tracy Myers doesn't know the answer. The answer is 6.
Well, there are 5 and there's a bonus, so yeah, there's 6 total.
There's 6 questions. And what are those questions? Who, what, how, why, when, and where. Is that correct, Tracy?
That's correct.
That's correct. The correct answer was 6, and our winner today was David Sharp. David Sharp, congratulations. All those times you've come to the webinar, you finally got something, baby. I love it. Okay, David Sharp, congratulations. And Ian Bowers, and both of you, if you could please, sit out the next 3 questions. And, of course, Ian Bowers is with Don Mealy's Sports Mazda. That's in Orlando, Florida, so thank you so much for that. David Sharp is with Elliott Auto Group. Thank you so much for that. That's in Mount Pleasant, Texas. So we're going to keep going. You two can sit this one out. You guys did great. 3 more questions to get to. Good luck, everyone. Here you go. Question number 3. Ultimately, who is the brand? That's right. We got it. Everyone got this question right. Thank you, everyone. The winner of that question was a very, very quick Dara Moore. Dara Moore, congratulations. You are also a winner today. We love it. Dara Moore, tell me where you're from, and you can join the ranks of Ian Bowers, David Sharp. Dara Moore, you are a winner today, and the 3 of you can sit this one out. Woohoo, Dara. She's with Raritan Auto Group in Seattle, Washington. Congratulations. We got 2 more chances for you all to win. So good luck, everyone. Question number 4. What should you make once you've established a who, what, how, why, when, and where? What should you make once you establish who, what, why, how, and where? Let's see. Oh, we have it. I don't know if anyone got the exact answer. Oh, we have a winner. We do have a winner. Thank you so much, everyone, for playing. We do have a winner. And a lot of people put a video, but what we were looking for is a why buy video. And our winner today is Tamara Swats. Tamara, congratulations. You are a winner today. I love saying it. You're a winner. I'm writing down your name, Tamara. And if you could, write on in and let me know what dealership you're from. Tamara Swats. You're a new name. I don't think I've seen you on here before, Tamara. But congratulations. And we have, yes, Robert, you were so close, but Tamara beat you to the punch. Sorry. Tamara is with Legacy Toyota in sunny Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you so much, Tamara. Ian, David, Dara, and Tamara, sit this one out. We got one more prize to give away. And the last question, you have one last chance to win today. But, you know, come on. Everyone's a winner, right? Okay, last question. Here you go, question number 5. What should your website feature? Oh, that's a trick question. It's a trick question, and you know what? We do have a winner from Bill Fennell. Bill Fennell, you are our winner. Question number 5 is all you, baby. That's right. What should you feature on your website? You. That is correct. Because why? Because you're the brand. So Bill Fennell, I'm going to write your name down. And Bill, where are you from? Write on in and let us know. So we have Ian Bowers, David Sharp, Dara Moore, Tamara Swatz, and Bill Fennell. And by the way, Bill is from Arnell Chevrolet, Burns Harbor, Indiana. Congratulations, Bill. He is very happy, by the way. And do we need your addresses? Absolutely we do. Write them on in. We'd love to have those. And congratulations, you 5, Ian, David, Dara, Tamara, and Bill. We, of course, want to thank all of our winners today, but really everyone on the webinar is a winner. And, of course, we want to thank Tracy Myers for his incredible generosity. Tracy, you rock my world. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to get to some of these amazing questions from the audience. Tracy, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's go to that next slide, and we're going to start off with some of these questions. This one actually came in pretty early. Katie Wagner, she wrote in, can we get a copy of that sign-off? You had something about a sign that you were talking about early.
Yeah. So I'm assuming here that she's talking about the sign-off for the testimonials.
Yes.
Yeah, so send me, just send me an email address. I'll scan ours in. Our attorney approved it in North Carolina. Check it in your state. It's real simple. It's one paragraph, but it's tracy@tracymyers.com. It's right there on the screen. Just shoot me a quick email. I'll send you what we use. Don't look for anything fancy, but it's legal and legit, and you need to get that signed. We get it signed in the F&I office with all the other paperwork. Makes it a lot easier that way. If they do, you got it. If they don't, then you know not to film. But we literally have had 2 people in the last 4 years we've been getting that thing signed that have said, "No, I don't want to do that." So it's a non-issue really, but you do need it in your paperwork.
Gotcha. Katie, great question. Thank you so much for that. Okay, we had a few people who wrote in with questions about social media. For instance, Jordan, he wanted you to explain, did you say daily posts? And he put question mark. And then we have Jeremy who wrote in, Tracy, is there a thing? Is there such a thing as too much engagement? So assuming, Tracy, that you have the content, really, how often should you be posting and how much is too much?
Well, there's lots of debate on this, and it really depends on, social media is vast. So on Twitter, from my experience, you need to post more often because it gets lost in the feed. There's just so much on Twitter. But yeah, so with Twitter with us, it's 7 to 9 posts a day, and we generally try to do those once every hour to an hour and a half to space them out. So there's a slight method to the madness. With Facebook, we're at least 1 post a day, and we really have not seen anything wrong with 3. We start getting people unfriending the page or not liking the fan page when it gets to 4. So for our store and with the people that follow us, that number is between, after 3 is too much. So, but at 3 we're good and still get engagement.
Well, there you have it. And great question, by the way, from both of you. I'm sure a lot of people had the same kind of question. So, Jordan, Jeremy, thank you for that.
But at least But at least once a day.
At least once a day.
If you're going to be there, be active and at least once a day.
Okay, so here's my follow-up question. Here's my question from Eliana. What do you do when you're not working, like on your day off or the weekends or whatever?
Yeah,
you still post?
Well, if it's a fan page, absolutely. And we've kind of become known on our page. And once again, there's great debate about this. Is our photo of the day and caption this photo, and we get a lot of interaction and a lot of engagement from it. I've been to some stores and I could get no traction from that. And I was consulting for them, so we had to take a different direction. But if that's the case, then the photo of the day needs to be lined up. Ours is posted about the same time every morning, fairly early in time for the coffee, and so it can get traction all day. But even on the fan page, if the person is operating is out of town, then they're either going to have to do it out of town or they need someone else doing it. Personal page, yeah, I mean, that's the world that my dealership lives in and I live in. So my family and I took a vacation to Alaska, and, you know, there were some places there were no signal, and I was freaking out. But when I got back to a place, yeah, right, where there's signal, then those pictures are being posted. And once again, over the years, I am the brand, even though Frank Myers Automax, my dealership, has its own fan page as well, and they do overlap somewhat. But I'm not going to put pictures of my kids on the Frank Myers fan page, and I'm not going to put the photo of the day on my personal page. So there is overlap, obviously, because I am the brand, but you set those parameters and you follow the guidelines that you set up, and you know, you adjust as you go.
So, you know, Robert wrote in, as long as you're providing value, there should be no limit. But I think, or at least what I've heard from a lot of dealers, is that they have a problem coming up with the content. So how do you come up with so much content? Where do you get it from? Where's your inspiration? Can you give some people some ideas on what they should be posting?
Sure, and you know what? I still have the mind. Everybody says, "No, you're very creative," and I tend to think I've got the mind of a 10 or 11-year-old. You know, I like Three Stooges, and you know, I like wrestling. So I think that a lot of times we try to find content in the wrong places. When you get older, you know, I remember my dad and my grandparents, and they'd sit on the couch and they'd watch the news and presidential press conferences, and you know, oh my gosh, we have enough of that junk, and you know, and the war and this and that. I'm never posting about that stuff. People have enough of that stuff. So content, and once again, this is a different. I keep calling them rabbit holes. We can keep jumping down these rabbit holes, but there's something called repurposing content, and I'm a very good repurposer of content. So, and I'll give you the short version. Repurposing content we'll use something recently that's non-political. So let's say that we'll use the VMAs. Everyone's used it, or we're talking about the VMAs afterwards. Miley Cyrus.
Working.
Yeah, so you know, I may take that story, and I didn't. I should have. It just popped in my mind. The next day, I should have had a twerking contest here at the store.
And
videotaped it and used social media to promote it. And give away a prize, and I could assure you, I would have brought, you know, I could have brought 200 or 300 people out here for something like that. But something that simple, you could turn into something massive, or at least something people talk about, and that may be part of the rule of thirds I spoke of. That may be one of those things where, you know, it's definitely going to be a third of the people like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Why would they do that at a car dealership? But you also have a third that laugh and say, man, I got to be there. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
Again, we have questions from the audience, and they're great questions. We're going to get to those. But since we're on the subject, does the rule of thirds somehow apply to the kinds of posts that you put up? I mean, 100% of your posts couldn't possibly only be about cars or about buying a car or selling a car. I mean, you just talked about posting about VMAs. So some of it is pop culture, right?
Yes.
So do you make a third of it about cars and a third of it about pop culture and like another third about, you know, just inspirational stuff or kids or something? What do you do?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And the reality of it is, like we were talking earlier, I started with the rule of thirds, and I saw what our audience, our followers responded to, and then we realized that our customers, or our followers who are our customers, they didn't want to talk about cars at all. That didn't excite them. I got no traction out of automotive posts. And one thing you never want to do, as long as we're talking about what to do and what not to do on social media, never spam your inventory in your feeds, because nobody wants to see that. Nobody goes to social media to shop for a car. Now, once you engage them and become friends with them, that's different. But just in the feed, no, it needs to go away. And I still see that way too often. But yeah, I think pop culture for us, funny pictures for us, goofy videos for us, and of course customers, pictures of our customers and people here at the store, and the staff, videos of the staff having a great time. We do crazy things here at the store sometimes just because we want to, well, most of the time just for fun. Like we had a couple years back, we had a cinnamon challenge with all the team members, and that got some of the biggest traction we've gotten with video on social media. So it really, yeah, right now, whatever we're getting traction on, and it's rarely about cars. It's always about pop culture or local community events. We just had a popular steakhouse here that closed, went out of business, and that was a post the other day, and we got a lot of shares from that. Now, we didn't get a lot of conversation out of it, but it got shared a whole lot, and in the grand scheme of things, they saw it was coming from us, and that works. I mean, it's still, essentially we told the story. The people that followed us heard the story, liked the story, and wanted to share the story.
Perfect. Also, I mean, so what you do is you make it locally relevant and timely relevant, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
for instance, we got football starting next week, and I don't know about you, but I live in a football town. So talking about football, the big game, tailgating, the kinds of things, what would you bring to tailgating and how to tailgate properly? That would totally be a great thing. I would think.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. If you're in a town that's got a college, university, we're in Winston-Salem, so Wake Forest University is here, and so regardless of they're winning or losing, it's still a local team. So yeah, you totally do something like that, or you may have the first 50 people that drop by, you may get a tailgate package, Uncle Frank's tailgate package, or like last week we were giving away school supplies. So we spent $500, $600, $700, put together school supply packages, put that on social media about the rising cost of school supplies. We got some quotes from customers who were parents. We turned it into a press release and a blog post. And then we said, hey, we care, we understand, most of us have kids too, and by the way, drop by the store, we got some free school supplies while they last. So that was
really cool.
Yeah, that was a national story, turned into a local story, and then we had like a community involvement type event. So we kind of morphed three things together.
That was a really good one, Tracy. I don't know how you come up with this stuff. That was awesome. Let's get to some more of these questions from our amazing audience, too. Robert wrote in, Tracy, now that my job is marketing a dealership, not me, if I have an owner who is not an attention whore like me, what do you suggest for a profile pic? I should have read that question to myself before I read it out loud.
Yeah. So, and I do run into that quite often, more often than I would like. But I think I know, and you know this too, Robert, that you really need to find someone at the store that the owner, dealer principal, somebody that's got some buy-in, that's going to be there for a while, where they can take some ownership so you can use a picture. It's always better to have a real person. However, let's look at folks like this dealer principal who doesn't want the attention, and I get that. A lot of them do not. And they don't want to turn over that attention to you because, and don't take this the wrong way, they don't know if you're going to be there forever. And, as a dealer principal, I probably wouldn't invest in somebody else being the face or the brand of the store either, unless they had some type of monetary buy-in. The other alternative is to have some type of mascot that can still appear well, like Uncle Frank, for example, in our store. Now, I'm the brand, but Uncle Frank's, kind of my sidekick. But if I wasn't the brand and I didn't want to do that, Uncle Frank would be a great mascot by himself at the store. So you may consider, if he'll go along with it or she'll go along with it, you may consider coming up with a mascot that works for the store that can appear everywhere, and they're actually probably easier to work with than a lot of the dealer principals.
That's great. And you know what? Apparently, Robert, you are not the only one who feels that way. We have one of our winners, Bill Fennell. He says, LOL, Robert, I am also a fellow attention whore, so thank you so much for making me say the word whore 3 times on my webinar. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next question. This one comes from Julie. She says, do you need a release to play the photos on the showroom TVs, or only if you use them as a testimonial?
Yeah, so it's all testimonial based. However, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, I believe the FTC has deemed photos of customers in your showroom implying that they did business with you or were intended to and were happy with their surroundings or your dealership. So if it was pursued, and knock on wood, we hope it would never be pursued. If it were pursued, they probably could win because the FTC and their little roundtable deals that they set up over the past 2 years, they're looking for things that dealers do wrong or they perceive are doing wrong, and anytime the customer screams foul, they're going after it. So I would, unless, here's the caveat, unless you put a sign up at every entrance way, and it can be a small sign that says that you're filming and taking pictures, and they're by entering your likeness could possibly be used in marketing materials, something very simple like that. That does not work for testimonials, by the way, but that sign would have to be at every entrance door. If you're just taking random photos and not getting the signature on the release form, that would have to be at every entranceway at the dealership.
Right. Okay. Julie, I hope that answers your question. We're going to move on to the next question from Mike. He says, powerful stuff as always. I so wish I could have made our GM sit in on this one with me. The fear I continue to hear is, what if we allow our staff to build this online presence and become brands, and then they leave and take the business with them? And I continue, and I will always return with, well, let's create a culture that no one will ever want to leave rather than worry about when they do. Awesome stuff, Tracy. Thank you so much, sir. Do you have anything to comment back to Mike about?
Sure. And, you know, and I live on the fence because I am a dealer principal and I'm also a consultant. So I truly see both sides and I understand both sides. However, I think moving forward, dealer principals, general managers, general sales managers will have to let go of that fear if they're going to excel in the marketplace. They're going to have to create that culture, or the store will die, not in 2 or 3 years, but 5 to 10. I think that's a given. And I think they need to set up those guidelines. They need to encourage it. They need to understand it, which is where most of that fear comes from, and they need to train on it. And as we all know, and me included, being in both worlds, most is harsh, but I'm going to say it, most general managers, sales managers, et cetera, from the top to the bottom, they don't train on how to sell a car. I know the training that I got when I started, and if you hadn't read my story, most of it's in You're the Brand, how I got started in the car business. I didn't go to work for my family's business, and I went to work for a Toyota Buick store, and the general manager hired me in less than a minute. He said, there's the desk, there's the phone. It showed me where the keys were, showed me where the bathroom was, and told me what time I had to be there the next day. And that was the training I got. So now we're asking a lot of these same people, that was 25 years ago, we're asking a lot of these same managers, general managers, or people that were trained by those people okay, we want you to do sales training, we want you to do social media training, we want you to create a culture where everybody's working together and talking together and having an online presence, and they're just freaked out, rightfully so. So somebody, and I'm trying to lead that revolution, if you will, and a lot of folks on this webinar are trying to lead it and say, look, you've got to get your hands around it, or this thing's going to take you screaming and dragging and kicking right out of the industry. And you're going to be broke. I mean, I really think that's what it's coming to. So I think it's going to take, it definitely going to take commitment from all of us that believe in this culture, that we've got to have a culture, and we've got to create it from the inside out, and the bottom up. Unfortunately, it's not going to come from the top down in most cases. My store's a rare example, but in most cases it's bottom up, outside in, instead of the other way around.
Thank you so much for the great question and comment, Mike. We really appreciate it. We're going to get to another 3 questions, and then we're going to close up the webinar. So hang with me, everyone. Let's see. This is a great question from Joseph. he was commenting about the photo booth that you said you had just put into your dealership, Tracy, and how the photos are instantly put up onto Facebook. He said, can you also record YouTube videos in the photo booth? And by the way, he's branding himself as the ambassador of smiles. So any advice you can give to Joseph?
Well, first of all, Joseph, you need to talk to me about that trademark you got there on Ambassador of Smiles. We'll talk about a release on that later. The photo booth, yes, it will record YouTube videos, and you know, not that there's an issue. You can't default it, and not that I found a way to default it. So, in other words, if you've got a team member that goes in the photo booth with them or stands outside of the photo booth like we do, we can log into our fan page. In our case, it's a member of our Extreme Satisfaction team, and they log in because not everybody has that password, and it will upload, or they can upload it to theirs. For us, it gets better rub if they actually post it to theirs, and then we've got copies of the pictures anyway, so that's cool. And we can also log into our YouTube channel and post it there. Most people, or most of our customers, they don't have a YouTube channel or a log into YouTube. So we will log into, you can record a personal YouTube greeting, which is really cool, and I think you can do up to 30 seconds or 45 seconds. That's a little overkill for us since we're doing the red carpet delivery ceremony, the gong celebration, the photos. I mean, we're just, they're here an extra 15 minutes just doing our stuff, which is, they all enjoy. We make it enjoyable. Sometimes they spin the prize wheel. So getting them us logging in and doing another 30 seconds on YouTube, a little overkill, but we don't do that. But the machine will do that, yes.
Got it, got it. Well, follow-up question. Can you say what photo booth company you went with?
Oh yeah, I don't mind that, but I don't know it off the top
okay.
of my
Well,
head.
then never mind.
No. Shoot me an email, same thing, and I'll just let me know what it is, and I'll send you contact and specs. I have nothing to do with the company, but we priced a lot. There's some wall units that are really cool. If you're limited on space, that like just hooked to a wall, and this is literally an old-fashioned photo booth that you get in, and we're real happy with it. You can also break it down and take it mobile. Because most of our community events are on the weekends, if we take it out, our busiest time for sales is also during the weekend, so it's missing from the store. So we're going to buy a separate one for community events. Where as long as you have the Wi-Fi signal, you can take pictures like at the fair where there's a gazillion people and send it to YouTube pages or Facebook pages, and that's killer. So that's our next step. Or even at the mall.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, the mall's almost dead, but you got Wi-Fi signal, taking pictures, send it to them, and we love that. So that's the type of stuff we do all the time.
That's a great idea. Okay, great question from Adil. He says, how do you make your YouTube channel have a website address that comes out as tracymyerstv.com? So how did you get your what do they call that, vanity, your vanity YouTube channel website address? How did you do that?
Yeah, so I kind of cheated on that. That's a redirect.
What?
Yeah, and the reason, and this short version because I know we're long, is I was on YouTube in 2006. I'm an early adapter. I jump in, and if I see it's not working or it's not going to have the right rub for us, I jump out. But I jump in everything almost. If it's social media or marketing, and I'll check it out. Social media is just easy because you can jump in stuff for free and jump back out. So I set up my personal deal then. I set up the Frank Myers page then, and as they've added all this stuff, like with Google Plus and your Google accounts connect, and now my names are kind of goofy. So the Frank Myers page, like, is like some weird THEEKDJS. I didn't know I was setting it up for the dealership when I set it up. I was just setting up a video channel to host videos. My TV commercials. I didn't know what it didn't know how I was going to use it. I just said, I need somewhere to put these so I can see them, so I don't have to always go back to my email. So anyway, I'm hoping they do give you an opportunity to change those now. I was actually in communication with Google or YouTube yesterday, and working on how we can change the redirector of TracyMyersTV.com. So you could get a JohnDoeTV.com and just redirect it to whatever your actual URL is. It's a lot easier to remember that, and that's probably why you asked. So I would encourage you to do that anyway.
Thank you. Great question, Adil. Thank you so
yeah.
much, Tracy. Okay, last question. A little birdie told me that you had some mad skills back in the 6th grade when you were running a DJ business operation under the name T-Mac.
All right, somebody getting tricky now. Yeah.
I don't know, but if anyone out there has any more questions for Tracy Myers, he's a super friendly guy, and you can reach him at TracyMyers.com. Tracy, I got to tell you, I know I stalked you for, I don't know, a few months.
It's like forever, yeah. It was a lot of fun, so I'm glad you did, and there's so much more that we could expand on, and hopefully they can find the answer in the book or in the new version of the book, or you'll find out I'm an open book, and anytime you need anything, shoot me an email, and I'll make the time somewhere in my schedule, and offer any insight that I can that I have, because at the end of the day, I am, and this isn't stand on a soapbox statement. It's a true fact. As far as I know, I'm the only consultant out there that actually does it on a daily basis. We operate a dealership. We just got on the Inc. 500 list for the 2nd year in a row, which we're happy about that. So we're all excited about that. That's pretty cool. So, and if you're going to be at the Special Finance Conference, which is called the Industry Summit, I think, I'm the MC of that conference, which is coming up, oh my gosh, it's coming up I'm leaving next Sunday. It's in Vegas. I know you're in Vegas now, which I was there.
Yes.
I had to pick and choose. I couldn't do the month-long worth of conferences like I usually do this year. And there's also a really cool mastermind event, which has been a dream of mine, that is going down in October in North Carolina. And we're doing it by invitation only. It's free to come. I mean, it's not a pay-to-play, and we're not charging anything to get there. But it is. We have to accept memberships, and there's like one slot left for this one. But the one in January, we're going to open it up to some more people because there's been so many people apply, and you can check that at unfairadvantagemastermind.com. We're just looking for thought leaders in the industry, from salespeople, from porters, all the way up to dealer principals, to join us that will contribute. We don't want people sitting there taking notes. There's not going to be speakers. We're going to plant thoughts into the ground, and we're literally going to water them over a day and a half, and we're going to watch them grow right in front of us.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Tracy, you are definitely a visionary, and I got to tell you, you are definitely worth the wait. I hope you will come back and do another webinar with us sometime soon, really soon, please. And you're fantastic. Your presentation was just fantastic. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. Just let me know.
Are you kidding? I'm booking you again right after this webinar. Okay, I want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of today's webinar recording is going to be emailed to you as soon as I can. I'm in Vegas right now for the conference, but as soon as I can get it up and online, I'm going to send you that email link. Don't worry. And for your reference, you can go to dealeron.com/webinars and click on the link on the right-hand side that says On-Demand Webinars, and there you can see all of our past webinar recordings, starting with the most recent. You can also check out our upcoming webinars and register for those as well. And hey, feel free to share the webinar links with your cohorts in crime and your family and friends. I think there's some awesome information in there. Certainly today is no exception. And we're going to also be sending you a short survey in just a moment at the very, very end of this webinar. So please fill it out and let us know, let Tracy know what a great job he did today. We're looking for great feedback from our audience. And today we're also going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google Prizes. You don't want to miss out on that. Also want to let you know that DealerOn is going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas, October 15, 16, and 17. We're going to be at booth 809. Yes, I'm going to be there, so if you want some more information, go to digitaldealerconference.com. And hey, good one coming up next week. Invitations are going out tomorrow for our next webinar, The 5 Laws of Excellence in Every Phone Call with Greg Wells. The telephone is one of the oldest technologies in your dealership, and arguably one of the most effective. Surprisingly, in most dealerships, it's also the most overlooked. Accounting for more than 50% of all dealership interactions with your customers, the telephone defines your company's commitment to customer service, and it's the easiest way to compel shoppers to want to do business with you. So if you or your employees haven't yet mastered the telephone, your dealership is literally losing millions. So join us for this free webinar as Greg Wells discusses the 5 laws of excellence in every phone call. Properly executed, these 5 elements are going to change your dealership's culture, cause you to sell and service more cars, and turn more customers, vendors, and employees into advocates for your company. So if you're ready for the huge benefits that come from mastering the 5 laws of excellence in your phone calls, then you simply can't miss this presentation. It's going to be another fabulous webinar by your friends at DealerOn. So don't forget, our weekly webinars are held every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we have some really awesome webinar subjects planned for this year. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, then hey, contact me directly. My name is Eliana Raggio. I love hearing from you. Track me down online or email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on a future webinar in our continuing education series. Have yourselves a good one.
The